I pray my son will inherit an earth suffused with beauty, with worth, with hope, with high-speed, wide-band revolution.
This is Two Friends, Two Poems, the podcast where friends read poems to each other just to see what happens. My name is Tom. This was my idea. Today we have part 2 of our fantastic conversation with Colorado poet Burt Rashbaum. Burt reads a poem to us. Me and Paul sheepishly turn in our homework assignments before Burt reads one of the first poems he ever wrote, inspired by Bob Dylan. Now that you know everything that's going to happen, let's start the show.
Well, I would love to hear your poem if you're up for it, Burt.
You mean the one I wrote in junior high school?
I mean, well, I do want to hear that, but anything you would like to read with the time that we have.
I was just looking at a poem. I have this little book that was published in Bucharest, Romania. Very interesting little book. I connected with the editor on a blog, and he said, "Send me some poems," and I did. And so he published an international literary journal for a while, and then he wanted to do a little book of mine. So I just read this a little before I came on this podcast, and it seems very apropos to the way I'm sort of feeling right now. It's
Perfect.
called "On Looking Out My Window in Hard Times." A spit of a cloud hinting at rain, but the sky as blue as the eye of a dancer. 2 more friends fighting cancer. The leaves still change, no matter what the market says. Banks overflow with tired water. Banks fail and ask to be bailed out. I didn't have enough to bail out a dying friend from jail. I texted someone else and checked my email. The internet entwines us in trivialities. I miss long letters from distant friends, reaching through time towards beginnings, ends, explorations of life, of death. There was this guy on YouTube who could hold his breath forever. I never thought we would come to this. I miss the follies of our youth. I search the speeches of our candidates for truth. I pray my son will inherit an earth suffused with beauty, with worth, with hope, with high-speed, wide-band revolution. The leaves change and fall no matter what happens, mocking our troubles and our feeble attempts at evolution.
Wow. Hell yes. Thank you, my friend.
Wow.
My goodness.
And again, what one of the things I feel about poetry is if there's some truth in there, whether it was written in the 18th century or yesterday, that truth will continually emerge and be present in the present, and so that's part of sort of my goal or my aim or
So Paul took the assignment as try to write a Bob Dylan song.
I love the thought. Yeah, because you mentioned over email that one of the drivers for you starting to write was that you wanted to write a Dylan song. And immediately I was like, yeah, I bet, in terms of of someone who has inspired people to write, certainly Dylan made a lot of people want to write. And probably Woody Guthrie before him and his own namesake, Dylan Thomas. The two of us, many people hold in high esteem. So yeah, I was like, well, if I were to write a Dylan song and I had to do it with audacity, with the hopes that it's bad enough that someone listening might go, I should do better and write my own one. Um,
That's great.
That far.
then I wrote this. Anyone can see the people who pick up trash are better than those making it. But check for me, who scrounges for money and who makes it. If they're calling you a hero, just wait for the collectors at your door. And if you're raking it in daily, check your feet. They're on the backs of the poor. The hard rain hits and it hits us roof or not. That rain was sourced from a country that's got enough to make sure there's no one in poverty. But we're told we have to choose between our food and our safety. Well, who's safe now? And when will the bombs cease? How long will our songs be sung for war and poverty to cease?
Well, that's good. I would never have hearing that, I would never think this came from trying to write a Dylan song. I mean, it's got its own power and truth and very, very well done.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks, man. Well, I, on the other hand, took the assignment as I didn't really crystallize the assignment. I thought about what I was listening to, because I believe you said it was Bob Dylan for you in junior high.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was thinking about, well, what was I listening to in junior high that definitely was an inspiration? And I thought of Pink Floyd. That was when I really started listening to Pink Floyd, and specifically The Wall. And I really like how Roger Waters, I really like his lyric writing, and I like how he sets a scene and uses objects. And I thought specifically of, there's a song on the wall that's a kind of a list song. I've got a little black book with my poems in it. I've got a bag with a toothbrush and a comb in it. When I'm a good dog, they sometimes throw me a bone in it. That's it. I'll stop there. But so I was thinking of that list, and at some point I wrote kind of just a list poem. And I believe it may have been after the debate, after the first presidential debate, this year of our Lord 2024. So, if the time to flee arrives, these are things I have: a 2012 Kia Soul, a laptop, a backpack, 3 months of meds, a few books, a deck of cards, a tent and sleeping bag. If the time to flee arrives and you make plans to do so, can I come too?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Let's
I
go
hardly
together.
know you. Yeah, I hardly know you, but the answer is yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And
But I tell you, as you were reading it, I thought to myself, I mean, when the time to flee comes, like, oh my Lord, like what would I grab, And so I was fascinated by your choices of your list, it's because I think a lot of people think there's going to be a time to flee.
Cool. And you said you do have the junior high poem?
Okay, here you go. Now you got to realize I was like 12 or 13 years old.
Absolutely.
Now, I was in a band, but we were playing the Monkees.
Nice.
And some Rolling Stones. We did not do any Dylan. I knew of Dylan from an older sister, but I was fascinated by his voice and his ability to string words together. So this was a feeble attempt by a young kid, and it's called, and again, I don't even know what the title means. It's called "Knowledge Dead is Logic Gone." So this is how it goes. And I'm going to read it in sort of a Dylanish voice.
Great.
Awesome.
The days are moving slow because the calendars are dying and the people aren't electric but heaven knows they're trying. Today, the people go up and they always end up flying, and religions and traditions are just other ways of lying. A life is born, but cause of drugs, another life is ending. No one believes in UFOs because of signals they are sending. A gun is made, but before it kills, it must go through patent pending. A man says he's on borrowed time, but thoughtlessly is lending. The acids burning through the minds of men who once were able, and now they live in crash pads, which look a lot like a stable. And they will stop the fighting, though it's now a Tower of Babel. And even though they're living peace, they talk of Cain and Abel. The calendars have died, and the minds of men are through. All life that lived had ended, and there's nothing good that's new. The sky is black, but now you wonder if it was ever blue. And the knowledge dead is logic gone for everyone and you. Oh. I can't believe I'm reading this on a podcast.
That's so good.
God. Oh no.
The calendar is dying.
Yeah, there you go.
You were already pondering the nature of time.
Oh my
guess.
goodness.
I guess it's like I don't know who that kid is who wrote that, you know? But it's got my name on it, and it's dated 1965, so that's a long time ago.
Oh, what a treasure, man! That's great.
Well, thank you for being kind.
This has been Two Friends, Two Pawns. A very special thank you to our new pal, Burt Rashbaum, for joining us today and sharing his work. If you'd like to hear more of Burt's work or read more of his work, just check the show notes. And if you're enjoying the show, please share it. Tell somebody else to listen. And as always, go write a poem.